Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be discussing the properties of the script menu of an object in Algodoo. The properties have been categorized and coded to indicate their functionality. The black colored properties have been successfully tested and will be demonstrated in today's lesson. On the other hand, the properties highlighted in red color are fixed and cannot be altered, making them unique to the object that is created. Therefore, these values represent the object's distinct numerical identities. The properties highlighted in blue color can be modified, but they didn't work as intended by the software developer in my experience. I sought solutions from various sources including Google, ChatGPT, Bing, and Bard, but their suggestions didn't resolve the issue. Thus, I will not be discussing these properties in my video. The yellow coded material name property allows for customization of the material name. It represents the name of the material used in the object. The properties highlighted in brown color are used to assign functions or actions to the object, making them highly valuable. I will discuss these properties in my next video, inshallah. Now let's delve into the first property, that is liquefy. So let's start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This property, that is liquefy, is used to transform any object into a liquid or water form. To apply this feature, let's draw a triangle first. Then right click on it. One option that can make this object into water appears here. Click it and the object will turn into water. However, this is not the property we are discussing in this video. To access the liquefy property, navigate to the script menu and locate liquefy property. Please note that you cannot modify its value. Simply type liquefy in the designated box and press enter. The object will transform into water form. Let's now focus on the attraction type property. The attraction type is an essential property in Algodoo. It allows to create interactions between objects in your simulation. It determines the way two objects attract or repel each other, and how strong that attraction or repulsion is. By controlling this property, you can create a wide range of physics-based simulations, from simple gravity simulations to complex molecular interactions. Understanding how to use attraction type effectively can help you create more realistic and engaging simulations in Algodoo. To use this property, let's draw first two circles. Now, first of all, you will have to set the value of the attraction variable. Let's set it at 1. Next, set the value of the attraction type property. Let's suppose we set it to 1 as well. Start the simulation and note the time it takes for the circles to collide with each other. Now let's change the type to 2 and start the simulation again. As you can see, the circles are now moving very slowly and it is taking longer for them to collide. Collide set. To better understand collide set property, let's first look at collision layers. There are 6 collision layers available and you can select any one or multiple layers as needed. Please refer to my previous video to understand the usage of these features. The collide set property in the Algodoo scripting menu is an essential tool that allows you to control the interactions between different objects in your simulation. It allows you to specify which objects can collide with each other and which ones cannot. This feature is especially important in complex simulations where you want to prevent objects from overlapping or interacting in unwanted ways. Using the collide set property, you can create different groups of objects and specify the interactions between them. For example, you can create a group of objects that can collide with each other but not with another group. Or you can make two groups that can only collide with each other. This gives you precise control over the behavior of your simulation and can save you a lot of time and effort in creating complex scenarios. The collide set property have values ranging from 0 to 1023. A value of 0 indicates no collision layer is selected, while a value of 1023 represents that all layers are selected. Let's check some random values to better understand this property. The next property is collide water. If this property is set to true, the object will collide with water. Conversely, if it is set to false, the object will not collide with water. Let's see this property in action. controller ACC. Controller ACC stands for controller acceleration, and the higher the value, the more acceleration is applied. By setting the controller ACC value, users can define the rate of change in velocity of an object as it responds to a controller input, therefore allowing for more realistic and dynamic simulations. Before setting this value, we need to specify some keys for moving the object to right, left, up, and down. Let's specify the arrow keys for this purpose. The right arrow key will move it to the right side. The left arrow key will move the object to the left side. The up arrow key will move it upward, and the down arrow key will move it downward. Now let's decrease the acceleration value. You can see that the acceleration has decreased now. If we set it to 0, the object will stop moving. If we set it to 0.2, the object will slow down. And if we set it to a higher value, the object will move faster. Now let's move on to the next property, that is controller invert X. It means that we swap the left and right keys. Normally, the right arrow key moves the object to the right side, and left arrow key will move the object to the left side. However, when this property is set to true, the left arrow key moves the object to the right side, and the right arrow key moves the object to the left side. Inverting the arrow keys can also provide a unique challenge or experience for the user, as it requires them to think in a different way and adapt to a new control scheme. This can make the simulations or game more engaging and interesting. Similarly, controller invert Y is used to swap the up and down keys functions. By default, the up arrow key moves the object up and the down arrow key moves the object downward. However, when this property is set to true, the down arrow key moves the object up and the up arrow key will move the object downward. The next property is controller invert XY. This property is used to swap both the horizontal and vertical movement keys. When it is set to false, the left and right keys move the object horizontally, while the up and down keys move it vertically. However, when it is set to true, the left and right keys will move the object vertically, and up and down keys will move the object horizontally. Another important property to consider in simulations is the value of friction, which determines the friction between two surfaces. To illustrate this, let's draw two bodies and adjust the friction value. When the friction is high, it is harder to move the bodies past one another. When it is low, they move across each other's surfaces very easily. Moving on to another property, let's consider the draw cake property. This property allows to make a triangular shape on the surface of a circle. We can demonstrate the immortal and killer properties together by drawing three bodies and making one of them a killer. As you can see, it killed the circle, means it deleted the circle. Now let's make the circle immortal, so that when it collides with the killer, it cannot be destroyed. The next property we can explore is the inertial multiplier, which is based on Newton's law of inertia. According to this law, an object that is stopped will remain stopped forever unless a force is applied to it, while an object in motion will continue moving forever unless acted upon by a force. Increasing the inertial multiplier makes an object more difficult to start or stop, while decreasing it makes the object easier to move. This property is essentially important when simulating object that has a lot of mass, such as cars, airplanes, or heavy machinery. Increasing the value of inertial multiplier will increase the object's inertia, causing it to move for a longer period of time. To demonstrate this, let's draw an irregular shape and move it. When we increase the inertial multiplier value and move it again, you can see that its motion continues for a longer time period. Moving on to another property, material velocity. Let's see how it affects objects in simulation. Suppose we draw a circle and set its velocity value to -5. Simulating it will cause the object to move to the right. Changing the value to +10, for example, will cause it to move back to the left side. The next property to consider is reflectiveness. It increases an object's ability to reflect light. To demonstrate this, let's draw a rectangle and a light source. Now increase the reflectiveness value. As you can see, the light is reflecting off the object. Rotating the light source can make the reflection more visible. Increasing the reflectiveness value even more will amplify the effect. This can be useful in creating realistic scenes such as mirrors or polished surfaces, where the object's ability to reflect light is a crucial aspect. Additionally, reflectiveness can be used to create interesting visual effects such as light reflections or distortions, which can enhance the overall appearance of the scene. Another important property to consider is refractive index, which is better understood by physicists. To explore this property, we need to change the material of the object to glass first. After that, we can change the value of the refractive index and observe its effect. Playing around with this value can lead to some interesting effects. This property determines the bending of light as it passes through a material. A higher refractive index means that light will bend more as it enters and exits the material. This property can be useful in creating simulations of lenses, prisms, and other optical devices. It can also be used to simulate the behavior of light in different materials such as glass, water, and air. Now let's come to another property, that is restitution. It increases an object's bounciness. When we increase this value, you can see that the ball bounces forcefully off the ground. We can use this property in another way, such as increasing the restitution value and hitting the ball with the box, causing it to bounce further. Next, we have the texture property. This property allows you to change the texture of an object by specifying the name of a picture file, such as rubber.png. Let's draw an object and apply a wood.png texture to it. As you can see, the texture has changed to wood. Moving on, we have the texture matrix property. This property allows you to change the patterns within the texture of the material. Let's experiment with different values and see how the patterns changes. Our next property is velocity. You can set the velocity of an object along the x and y axis by assigning a value here. The object will initially move with the specified velocity, also known as initial velocity. Velocity damping. This property affects the velocity of an object by gradually slowing it down until it comes to a stop. When an object is given an initial velocity, it can continue to move indefinitely unless acted upon by another force or object. This can make it difficult to create realistic simulations, especially if you want objects to slow down or stop over time. Velocity damping allows you to gradually decrease an object's velocity over time, simulating the effects of friction or air resistance. This can be particularly useful for simulating objects that are rolling or sliding on a surface, as it can help to mimic the real-world effects of friction and prevent the object from continuing to move indefinitely. Let's observe the object's velocity without damping and then with damping applied. As you can see, the damping property slows down the object's velocity gradually and then brings it to a complete stop, while the object moves with the initial velocity when damping is not applied. So that was all for today. Thank you for watching this video and exploring the various properties of objects in our physics simulator. I hope you found it informative and engaging. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting content like this and hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Your comments and feedbacks are always welcome. So please share your thoughts with us in the comments section below. And if you know anyone who might find this video helpful or interesting, don't hesitate to share it with them. Also make sure to check out our other videos on this channel to learn more about the amazing things you can do with physics simulations. Thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.